Good evening. I'd like to call the Concord Township Zoning Commission meeting of Tuesday, February 7th, 2017 to order. With us tonight on the panel is Jerry Morgan, Frank Schindler, Andy Lingenfelter, Morgan McIntosh, and myself, Rick Gorget. On the agenda tonight, starting off is amended site plan review for SPR number 026 for Mr. Scott Bickley of OHM Advisors for the Concord Retail Center, which includes Discount Drug Mart and other retail and warehouse space located at 8023 Cryle Road. I believe we have someone from the company. Harry?
Yes.
Please come on up.
I'm back again.
You're back. Name and address?
Harry Giltz, 4835 Munson Street, Canton, Ohio. Apologize, Scott was not able to attend to answer some questions. This is a site plan that really has very little modifications from what you've seen previously. The biggest one was a recommendation after we were approved previously. The county came back and had a recommendation as it relates to the curb cut, which, as it's shown here, is pretty much in the exact same configuration, although now it allows for a cross-access easement to the property to the south of us. And that had, that's, in my mind, the most significant difference that has happened as it relates to the plan you're looking at now.
You were able to get the owner.
Correct.
And yourselves.
And we both entered into a cross-access agreement that we both can share common drives. And so tonight what I'm asking for is just your reapproval of the site plan that you're seeing here tonight. And if you have any questions, to the best of my ability, I can answer them. Heather may be a little bit more familiar with some of the changes because I know she worked directly with Scott, and her staff report, I saw back and forth emails going back that she had sent and she provided with me today here also.
Right. I know we were all given a staff report which included the recommendations from the staff, which seemed to be a little lengthy, but I believe you're aware of that.
That's correct.
And if nothing else, I'd like to go through them just to read them for the record.
Sure.
And if there's any questions or things you'd like to bring up, we can go ahead. Number one, proof of approval from the Lake County engineer for the traffic study. Turn lane and drive locations shall be provided prior to the issuance of a zoning permit. Number two, any future conversion of warehouse use to some other use may be required to provide a traffic study for review and approval.
That's correct.
That would include that third lane
That's correct.
on Cryle.
Correct.
Okay. Parcels 08-A-020-0-00-0009-0, 08-A-020-0-00-025-0, and 08-A-012-000-0038 shall be combined into one prior to the zoning inspector issuing zoning permit. Proof of consolidation shall be provided to the township.
Correct.
That's more of a formality.
Yes, the current property that you see there has 3 separate parcels, and it's a consolidation plat that we'd be submitting.
Okay.
We have no issues with that.
And as I go through these, if anybody up on the board has any questions or comments, please bring them up. Sheet C4 updates parking space requirements. Required Drug Mart parking count, 1 per 250 square foot. 116 retail parking count, 1 per 250 square foot. And 39 warehouse parking count, 1 per 1,000 square foot. 18, and total spaces 173 required and 268 provided.
Correct.
Okay.
We're in excess of it right now.
Okay. Sheet L1, the landscape plan provided is 1 per 40. However, it would be preferable that the plan be scaled at 1 per 20 or 1 per 30 ratio in order to accurately depict the landscape. I know there was some question on making it a little bit easier to read, bigger, and as far as what's on the layout, because it looks like there was some duplication. Show locations for light poles and fire hydrants on the landscape plan in order to coordinate landscaping. Several interior parking lot islands have light poles see sheet ES 1.1, and trees proposed in the same location. Update lighting plan if any changes are required.
Correct.
Okay. The plans coded EU, AL, BETH, and VIMI appear on the Ohio Department of Natural Resources list of invasive species. Per section 3812, the applicant is to ensure required landscape materials are not included on this list. These plants need to be removed and replaced with non-invasive landscaping materials.
You know, actually, I was surprised, actually, that how that got missed, to be honest with you. But, yeah, we have no problem eliminating those.
Nothing's 100%.
No, it just,
But if it's an easy change, not a problem.
I think that's an easy change there.
The sea green junipers shown as the required perimeter screening will not effectively conceal parking areas in the interior driveway. Screening needs to provide visual separation from adjoining properties. Suggestions that may provide sufficient screening include placing 5 shrubs randomly staggered every 35 feet of side yard to break up hedges, and placing 1 tree every 35 feet of side yard to break up the hedge.
Okay.
The transformer and generator shall be screened on all sides per section 38.08. No screening is provided on the north side.
Okay.
Further clarification is needed as if the parking lot islands contain turf. See section 38.05F, which requires the interior parking lot islands, in addition to the trees provided, to be vegetated with grass or similar low-level plant material not to exceed 2 feet in height.
Okay.
Revise the landscaping behind the building within the 5-foot planting areas to include taller vegetation, as this will help break up the blank walls.
Okay.
Landscape shrubs could be added to help soften the building and screen parked vehicles by adding shrubs on the northwest corner of the building along the pavement between the 2 parking areas and along the pavement to the rear of the building just east of the handicap spaces.
Okay.
As stated in section 38.03C, any landscape or screening material approved on this site plan that dies or is destroyed shall be replaced within 60 days.
Okay.
All service structures, including but not limited to dumpsters, generators, and mechanicals that are ground-based, including those not currently represented, shall be screened per section 3808.
Okay.
And the project shall comply with any requirements of the Lake County Department of Utilities, and the project shall comply with the Concord Township Fire Department requirements. The project shall comply with the City of Paynesville Water Department's requirements. The project shall comply with the Lake County Soil and Water Conservation District's requirements. And last but not least, the project shall comply with the Lake County Engineer and Stormwater Management Department's requirements.
Okay.
So there isn't any issues with anything?
No, and I'm assuming Scott had reviewed these. He indicated to me he didn't have any issues with the staff recommendations.
Seen the majority of it was landscaping with some small lighting issues and all as far as what was needed.
Correct. I mean, the landscaping, in fact, I actually thought we had submitted a previous drawing on the landscaping the first go-around. And I don't think we had this much of a review on it. That was, no?
Not as much,
Okay.
right.
Was it not in as much detail on the first one?
The original approvals on the landscape plan didn't go into as much, some of these items were overlooked in the original approvals, so
Okay.
luckily we got you back here to get it right. But I would like to say on behalf of, we did get an updated landscape plan today
Oh,
from the engineer on the project. We've looked at it on the small size sheet. It appears like everything's going to comply. However, we are still recommending that you just leave that as part of your conditional approval this evening until we get a chance to look at the full size sheets that were also delivered late this afternoon.
okay.
So they've pretty much already changed, everything related to the landscape.
Very good. Do you have any other questions? Or
No.
anybody else have any questions or comments?
can you run through what's the over, I know last time we saw this, and I saw there was a change that this went from office and warehouse or office to just warehouse. What is the overall impact of the change of the building from a standpoint of what's going in there?
The warehouse is, I want to say, that if you're familiar with the building, Drug Mart, as you're looking from Crowell Road, is going to be on the right-hand side, and there's a long warehouse in the back.
That's the existing building today.
It's existing today as a warehouse. And so through the time that we've been involved with the project, there's really no visibility to Crowell Road. And in reality, I don't feel we see that being as much of a retail or an office, that it may remain more in a configuration where there may be a small office and a warehouse behind it, or that they utilize it as somewhat of a storage facility for themselves, that if you're doing a business and you're having product delivered back and I think that may be the use, but
So there's no more additional retail?
No,
it's just
nothing
Drug
additional.
Mart, and so the additional retail these changes got pushed out?
That's correct. It was contemplated that back area was going to be somewhat of a flex area, whether or not it's office, whether or not a retailer would take more space than what we have currently slated. We have, I think, 80-foot depth retail set there, that if somebody came along who was a bigger, kind of like a co-anchor to Drug Mart, we had the ability to expand.
And they could have frontage space there to put a retail front on it as well.
Under
That's
that-
an option.
That's correct. So under the scenario that if somebody came in and said they wanted to build a single 15,000 square foot building, right now we have the ability to adapt the space and put them in there. We'd have to come back here and say we need to make sure the parking complies.
Right.
But we haven't had that tenant in the past year express interest in that type of square footage.
So it's kind of up in the air what that's going to turn into.
Yeah, as construction goes and Drug Mart takes shape, it may happen, and we may be back here asking for a traffic study as it relates to adding more retail to expand into that area.
As far as breaking ground, if all goes well,
We'd like to start the asbestos abatement immediately in the one area so that the right side of the building gets demoed, and there was some asbestos that was in the drywall plaster that we need to remove. We'd like to start that almost immediately, and then go into the demo. Obviously, there's certain things we still have to do, but that's what we'd like to really be breaking ground for spring.
if you were to guess at opening, just
October,
October, okay.
right in that target area.
And what similar stores now would that go after? Which prototype, or what are you using?
They have a new prototype. They built two of them in Medina. One of them is on Route 18, one's on Route 3. It's a new store
They
that...
closed the one on 18 and moved up, or?
No, still have it.
Okay.
It's a brand-new freestanding one as you head closer to the square of town.
Okay.
It's a beautiful store, but it's a larger footprint. It allows them to have more produce. They now have the Minute Clinic attached to it, and so they're offering more with their stores. I mean, to give you some perspective, CVS or Walgreens is between 12 and 14,000 square feet.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Can I clarify one thing? When Morgan was asking about the use of the existing part of the building, now the warehouse is in the back of the existing part, but you're still doing like about 9,000 square foot
Correct.
retail in the front.
That's correct.
So you're still going to have some additional
Right.
retail units in the front next to Drug Mart, and then the warehouse behind. I just
So
wanted
one
to-
of the retailers could push further through. That's okay. I got it. So the front, so across the whole front of the building, you're gonna have Drug Mart on the right and 1 to 2 retail spots up front, and the warehouse behind.
Well, right now it's suggested there's about 9,000 square feet. That could be potentially 5,
Right. Okay.
Smaller.
tenants,
So
1,500 square
those
feet.
slots remain, and then.
That's
Gotcha.
correct.
Okay. So the whole forward facing of it's gonna be retail.
That's correct.
Nothing else?
No,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming tonight. Do we need a vote or considering,
Yeah.
Okay.
You would do a, yes, a vote.
Need a
Do
motion.
you want to make a motion?
We need a motion. First, in the affirmative, to vote.
Conditional approval.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chairman, I move for a conditional approval of this site plan, application number 26.
do you have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Did you want to do a roll call? Like,
Should.
Okay.
all right, I'll do a roll call. All right. Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mr. Lingenfelter?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
And Mr. Borgia?
Yes.
And it passes 5-0.
Thank you. I appreciate your help.
Yep. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, all right, have a good night.
Next on the agenda, any correspondence? I'll start with Andy.
None.
Jerry?
No.
Frank?
None.
Morgan?
None.
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 Myself. We need the approval of our December 6th, 2016 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I so move that we accept the minutes of the 16th as written.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. And with that, our next meeting is Tuesday, March 7th. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.
Very good.